Harry Super. I'm your joined with our special guest tonight. She's from Tobago. It's Onika Henry. She's a qualified sex coach. Good night, Miss Henry.
Good night. Good night. Thank you for having me. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah. You're real good. Like in our studio, yeah.
I wish. I'm not in office today. I'm in home office.
Yeah.
My regular office does also have a studio, but I don't have studio equipment tonight. So I'm glad you're hearing clearly.
Yeah, you're sounding good. Give our listeners a little brief background about yourself and what you do.
All right. So people usually ask, how did I end up studying sexology? And I would always remark, I didn't grow up thinking that this is what I would do. I didn't plan to study sex work. People assume people who like biology study biology, people who like physics study physics. So the assumption is I'm perhaps some kind of oversexed, hypersexual person who likes sex, and therefore I studied it. And that's not how it happened. I worked at the Tobago HIV Secretariat for a few years. And while working at the HIV Secretariat, I became interested in human sexual behavior, why people were making the kinds of decisions they were making around their sexual health. And so my interest really came out of a public health background, being concerned for the rates of HIV at the time. So I decided, well, this is something that I can do well, that I have no discomfort around. People keep coming to me for information I didn't have. So decided that I will go ahead and study this. So I like to tell people I have a master's in sex. So my master's degree.
Wow.
Yeah, I play with that word. I have a master's of sex, and I do a particular kind of sex work.
Right.
So I can design curriculum, I can train folks to be sexual health professionals. I do lesson plans, and then I also did clinical sexology. This is where the sex coaching and sex counseling comes on board. I work with couples and individuals who have issues with their sexual health or with their sexual function. Brief background.
So let me just jump into it one time. Can I control early ejaculation?
Yes, you can. It will take some training. And of course, it depends on the kind of early ejaculation that you have. So for some people, it's chronic. It's something they've always had, and it's usually tied to patterns in their past. So if as a child growing up, they are accustomed in solo pleasure or masturbation coming quickly, they've literally trained their body to respond in a particular kind of way to sexual energy. And so they have to learn how to untrain their bodies and retrain their bodies to do something differently. And for some people, it may just be the situation with this particular person. And there may be some anxiety with this person. It may be a new partner. And once there's anxiety, there's tension in the pelvic area, tension in your PC muscles. When there's so much tension, there's nowhere for the energy buildup to go. So it has to come out the fastest and the easiest and the shortest way. And that is usually through ejaculation. But yes, it can be controlled, and you can learn how to manage the sex experience even while you're learning to retrain your body.
So I'm actually seeing an opposite to the question here. So what can you do if you take long to come as a man?
Right. So that is called delayed ejaculation. Gentlemen who have delayed ejaculation may have issues on two levels. One, have they had any kind of injury, surgery, sometimes even circumcision, anything that has numbed the head of the penis? That means that getting sensation is really delayed. So they're not able to actually receive a whole lot of sensation. That is one. Two, if they have a history of not trusting women, not trusting their partners, that is usually a mental health issue, and they have to learn to be comfortable and to let go, to be vulnerable in sexual situations with their partners. And so usually for men who have delayed ejaculation, it may be a history of having issues, having concerns, having trust issues, and not being able to just let go and be vulnerable during sex with their partner. So that will take a little bit more time to dig into and figure out what's happening. If the gentleman is able to come quickly or ejaculate quickly on his own, then it's definitely something that has to do with partnering with somebody else. If the delay is only with a partner and he could come as soon or as quickly as he wants on his own, then it's really something about partnering with other people and that ability to trust and let go.
I want to say a special good night to Cheyenne. Guys, we inside 30 minutes for Alicia's on the Hill. Here's DJ Chumps. All right, this Saturday, the West Side comes alive at Alicia's on the Hill. Splash! It's a live show with live performances. Come and enjoy an evening full of vibes, good music, eats, drinks, and so much more. Take advantage of this opportunity to promote your brand and your business. For more information, call them at 231-1595. All right? Don't forget, it's on Alicia's on the Hill, above the zoo, Lady Chancellor Road, Port of Spain. A lot of different topics and questions coming in. I'll just throw it out there for you, right? And see what we can do with it. Good night.
Sure.
My man has a big penis, and sex does be very uncomfortable. What do you suggest I do?
Right. So experiment with different positions and make sure the positions that you choose allows you as a woman to have control over the depth of penetration. And so that means you may want to decide positions that are more on your side or where you are on top. And so therefore you could control how far penetration goes. That is one. Two, there is a sex toy for men that is called a sleeve, or like a masturbation sleeve that's open-ended. Some of them are open-ended. What you can do is actually put that over the penis so it takes up some of the length, and then you go on top of that. And that allows you to have less of the penis within your body and allows you some more control. As well as masturbation sleeves, some of them come textured, some of them have vibrations, and so the man could actually pretend or imagine he actually has two vaginas, his partners, and then the masturbation sleeve that's on his penis, because that gives additional texture and more fun. And sometimes those masturbation sleeves has a feature that would stimulate the woman's clitoris, so she's getting stimulation two places at the same time. So it depends. So that particular toy can help take up some of the length, give the man some more texture and more, more quote unquote sensations, and
stimulate the woman.
Yes.
All right, we have a caller here. Good night, you're live, line 2.
Good night.
Yeah, man.
How things, brothers? And ma'am, how are you tonight?
I am fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm okay. A question for you was...
that type of show, bro. Yeah, go ahead.
Normally, if I masturbate, let me see if I could use the nice words. If I masturbate, I usually finish now and can go again.
Right.
But sex-wise, I would like to go again mentally, physical, but not physically. How can I help that? But if I masturbate, I can go again right after.
All right, bro, listen on the radio, right?
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, man, blessings. So, when he's doing it by himself, he can go for whole night. But once he has a partner, problems. Why is this?
Right. So the amount of energy he's exerting when he's by himself is completely different to the amount of energy he's exerting when he's with a partner. When you're by yourself, it's just your hand, it's not your whole body involved. You're not using as much energy, and so your recovery time is going to be a lot less. When you're with a partner cannot duplicate exactly what you do when you are in your solo pleasure time. And so it may literally mean that he has to slow down with his partner. Perhaps he may want to allow his partner to experience orgasm before he goes again. Before he has penetrative sex with his partner. So it really is slowing the pace, focusing on other activities, because literally the amount of energy that he's using up in both situations are completely different. And I want to put a little bit of information here quickly. Men can have multiple orgasms too. It takes some training, but orgasm and ejaculation are two separate events in a man's body.
Come on, that's all. Yeah. Don't go so fast over that. Let me go again. Come on, what's that, Carrie?
How much training do you need for that exactly?
Yeah, let me hear this, because I want to orgasm. I do orgasm up right now. Let me hear this. So, you're saying there's two different experiences?
There's two different processes.
Okay, so break this down. I want to know.
So one can happen without the other.
Right. Go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead. I want to know this. Yeah.
Right. And so it does take some training, and the training is going to take place during your solo pleasure times, aka masturbation pleasure. What you are doing as a man, you do what we call edging. You're coming very close to orgasm and then let it go, because you want to be able to separate your knowledge of when you're going to get to ejaculation. And so you slow down, you notice when you're getting close, you hold back, and sometimes that triggers orgasm without ejaculation. And then you could go again.
Onika, realize my hands up because I really want to ask this question.
Yes.
No.
Yes, go ahead.
You going to make me just scream and run out of here. Listen to me, and anybody laugh? I'm plugging out the plug and I don't want nobody participate. Orgasm and coming is two different things?
Ejaculation and orgasm, two different processes. So a man could have an orgasm and not ejaculate.
Hold on.
So if he
yes, no, too much. Wait. What is an orgasm now? Because I don't know.
Right. And so an orgasm is the release of the buildup of sexual tension, and you're going to feel it in the muscle spasms that are happening in your pelvic floor. So that's where a lot of the pleasure comes up, right? So you can have that happen, that buildup and explosion, release of tension of sexual energy in the muscles, with the muscles, vibrating, etc., without the body pushing semen out through the penis. And so
you gonna make me cuss. You gonna make me cuss.
Wait, hold on, slow down. So it's called, and you can look it up. It's called semen retention, right? Semen retention, and there's some men, and this comes from so many Asian traditions where they believe that men should not ejaculate very often, especially as they get older, because the semen helps nourish the body, kind of thing. But the technique works for anyone who practices it. So some men use it as part of their birth control. They can experience orgasm, but they're not ejaculating.
What?
Yes.
Well, Onika, right now my mind is blown. All right, so the phone lines is off the hook and the mouse is in trouble. Caller number 3, you're live. Line number 3, you're live.
Super, good night. Nice topic, nice conversation. Here is Soup. I have 4 questions. I want to ask it fast. 4, I say, right? 1. Is too much masturbation a problem? That is 1. Why is it that when you watch little erotic movies and you see a man in sex after and he ejaculate and you see splash, 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 and normal man you might just see plap, but I mean they feel real sweet. And next thing too, sometimes I just control my sex by thinking of FIFA, thinking about wrestling, and it's like when I come to that point where that I want to break, I kind of forget that thought because I studying FIFA, I studying how to build a weed, or I kind of... All
right, we understand that. Next question. Yeah. All right.
Last question is oral. Is oral in sex really needed on 2 ends? Because honestly to me, I really don't enjoy oral, but I enjoy giving it. Because like...
No, but what's your problem there?
I circumcise. I circumcise, so it's like my senses, you can feel more my senses, but I just don't like it.
If you don't like it, big boy, if you don't like it, you don't like it. That is it. You don't have a problem there. That's not a question you need to ask. You don't like it, you don't like it.
But if the person want to do it and they feel how that they want to do it, and it's like...
Right.
Well, you don't have to go through that. I'm not for that, but they figure like...
all right, bro.
I get it.
All right, bro. Well, listen on the radio and Miss Henry will answer you, all right?
All right. Do I go ahead? My turn? Yes. Okay.
It's your turn overnight. You're in charge right now.
Too much masturbation. So that's going to be different for different people. When something becomes too much, it's because it begins to interfere with your daily life. It's beginning to interfere with your ability to function. It's beginning to interfere with your ability to carry out your responsibilities. So there's no such thing as too much unless it gets to the point where you are hurting and damaging yourself. You're doing something that your body is not liking. So you may be bruising yourself, etc. or you are taking so much time out of your regular daily life and schedule to do this that it is affecting other areas of your life. So that is when it becomes too much, and that will be different for different people. But you can overdo anything from eating to exercise, etc. So solo pleasure is no different. That's splash. So remember that folks who are in porn, they're actors and they train. And so, part of their training may be those same PC muscle exercises. Some of that helps with the shooting out or the speed of ejaculation that's happening. So that's something that you can teach yourself to do during your solo pleasure time. There are actually devices for men to help them strengthen their PC muscles. And you could just use like a wet towel or a wet rag or like a wet hand towel, put it over an erect penis and squeeze, and you can see it moving up and down. That is a way of exercising your PC floor muscles, which will give you stronger ejaculations and stronger orgasms, right? That's so there are exercises, technical exercises that you can do if you want that kind of excitement. I mean, it's not really needed, but maybe you will find it pleasurable and your partner may find it pleasurable. Focusing on other things. So usually there's a technique a lot of people use to try to last long if they find they're coming quicker or ejaculating faster than they would like. That helps, yes, but it also takes you out of your pleasure. What you need to do is during your solo pleasure time is build your capacity to tolerate and to enjoy erotic energy. Focus on your body. Use breath work and breathing techniques, which we teach. Use breathing techniques, muscle contractions to move the energy through your body so it's not all concentrated in your pelvis. And therefore, if it's too concentrated and not moving through the body, through breath and sound and movement, it's going to come out too quickly. So that's something you can learn. It's trainable. In terms of oral, there are many ways to approach oral on a man that he may find pleasurable. And one of the things we tend to do when we're giving oral on male bodies is forget that there's not just the penis. There is the length of the penis. There are the testicles. There is the sides of the thighs where the thighs meet the pelvic area. You can use fingers. And so different kinds of strokes, different pressure, different speeds, different patterns. And so it really is a matter of taking time with your partner and just focusing on instructing and trying different things until you find something that works. There are literally like 25 different strokes that I teach for working with using using hands and mouth, etc. Yeah, it's over 25 different ways of
I said myself short, man. I said myself short. No, Miss Henry, I'm telling you, the phone lines is going crazy here. There's a lot of messages on the WhatsApp board, on the Instagram. I think you had I don't know, we need to do a part 2, We will have to do a part 2. Yeah, we will have to do a part 2 because I know you're only here for 30 minutes. But let's go to line number 4. You're live. Make up or break up. I'll be got to Selector Kerry. Kerry said 25. Hello, you're live.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Hello? Yeah, you're live.
Yeah, you're live, bro. Go ahead. No sticking today.
This whole sex thing with ejaculation has to do with our mindset. I think once you stop lust over ladies, you just have that kind of control. That was my personal view, right? I used to get out of the youth, man. Now I could control it because I don't lust over them. The first thing I don't see is sex. You understand?
All right, brother. Blessings, right? So we inside 30 minutes for Alicia on the Hill, guys. And do remember, this weekend is about the big splash event that's going on at Alicia's on the Hill. And I will give you that information in a few when I can find back the script. All right, let me go again here.
Too much ejaculation can weaken your eyes. And plenty ejaculation, you could, your thing could get bigger.
Is there any truth to this?
No, there's absolutely no evidence for either one of those.
All right, guys, this Saturday, Westside comes alive. Alicia's on the Hill Splash. It's a live show, live performances, everything. Food, drinks, giveaways. You don't want to miss it. Take advantage of this opportunity. Come promote yourself and your business. You could just call 231-1595 or WhatsApp 347-0435 for more information, right? Don't forget it's all on Splash at Alicia's on the Hill, above the zoo, Lady Chancellor Road, Port of Spain, Saturday, the 2nd of July from 2 p.m. till 8 p.m. Any any more questions, guys, please forward them. There we go. I have a question. I'm a female, and when I am having sex and I feel the urge to come, but I cannot do it, but I play with myself and I cannot. Just no. Let me take my time and read this over. I have a question. I'm a female, and when I'm having sex, I get the urge to come, but I don't. Right? That's what you're trying to say. But if I play with myself, I can. Help me, please.
Right. So that will need some deeper probing on my part. Usually, once you involve someone else in your sexual activity, there's an issue of trust, of letting go, of being vulnerable. So she may actually have some issues with trusting and with letting go and allowing herself to experience pleasure with her partner. So if for example, in other areas of her life, she's always the one who's in control, she doesn't let herself experience so much pleasure, she needs to be the one in charge, that usually spills over into the bedroom with her partner. So I need to do a little bit more digging to really answer that properly. Of course, when she's by herself, she's in control. There's no one else there to judge, to witness. She doesn't feel as if she's giving over of herself and being vulnerable to anyone else. And then she knows how to touch herself well. Is she telling her partner how to do it? Now that she knows how to bring herself to orgasm, is she giving her partner the same instructions that they can do it to her when she is with someone?
All right, so just before you join, Miss Henry, me and Carrie was speaking about how long sex should be, because some women might claim a guy is a premature ejaculator, but really and truly, we don't know how long sex should be. So a man could come within 5 minutes and she could claim he's a premature ejaculator, which mightn't be true. The man just gave the best 5 minutes of his life. So how do you know when you are a premature ejaculator, or are there different types of premature ejaculating?
Right. And so first, I'm going to use another term. I would say early ejaculation. I don't like using the word premature when you talk about big men. Adult, no. So it's early ejaculation. Early meaning you've ejaculated before you wanted to. It's an issue of control. How long should sex last? It should last as long as folks involved enjoy it and are comfortable with it. So there's no set time for that. That's going to be different for different people and different couples. There is, however, a medical definition for early ejaculation. And I think, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong about this, it is if the man ejaculates within, I think, a minute or a minute and a half of penetration. So there's a medical definition for early ejaculation. So once a man ejaculates under that time or within that time, that is considered early, and that is considered an issue, a challenge, because he's not receiving satisfaction and his partner is not receiving satisfaction as well, especially if they're only doing penetrative sex. If he's bringing her to orgasm through other means, using his hands, using his mouth, etc., and she's satisfied, and then he penetrates and comes within 2 to 3 minutes, then there probably isn't an issue, except maybe he may want to last longer. Does that answer your question?
Yep, it does. I have a question coming in here. And this is probably a very big question too. Well, no pun intended. How can I get my penis larger?
Right. So there's nothing that we've designed as yet in the world of science to make penises bigger. I did notice that from an Asian company, they have this device that what it does, it stretches the ligaments that attach the penis to your body, so they can make that a little bit longer. It's not going to be any huge difference, but there's nothing as yet that's reliable.
Yeah.
What I want to tell men though is that the first 2 to 3 inches entrance into the vagina has the most touch sensitive nerve endings. So I mean, if the man only 4 inches long, once he knows how to use it, it works. And most women are not concerned about penis size. If the love making is great, women can experience orgasm without penetration. Lesbians do it all the time. Like, penises.
What's that?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That is one. And out of all the women who are engaging in sexual activity, lesbian women experience more orgasms than any other kind of sexual orientation among women. So it's not about the penis size.
Yes.
Not penis size.
Facts.
It really is about skills.
Facts. We have a call on line 4. You're live. Make up or break up.
Yes, super. Again, sex
on a normal basis without any influence, like I really like Magnum, right? I think Magnum are a normal thing, but you see, like you see the prime up now. I just last a little longer, not a little, much longer with Magnum, but sometimes I catch myself all drinking Magnum and sometimes I last the same length too. So I just saying, is it a mind thing, or like my preference I drink is Magnum, some might like punching, some might like honey, whatever, but it's that them things really work.
All right,
brother.
Because I find it as work.
All right.
You know, I can get it normal just so without two, you know?
All right, King, listen. He getting in trouble tonight, boy. Your man, let's go coming in here. Hello, you're live.
Hi, good night. I would like to find out at what age a man actually experiences or goes into impotency.
So that varies. It depends on what the problem is. And I mean, some men are active right up until death. You will find that issues with being able to have an erection, because I guess that's what she means by impotence, the inability to have an erection or to maintain an erection usually happens when they're going into their mid to late 40s, when the hormonal levels begin to drop. So there may be signs there. Then they get into their 50s and it may get worse. So I would say perhaps early 50s, mid to late 50s, when that may happen. And once again, it depends on the health of the man. You see, has he been taking care of himself over the years? Has he been exercising? Has he been eating well? Right? And sometimes there may be a disease that comes up. So like diabetes. If he has diabetes, that's going to affect his ability to experience erections or to maintain erections.
We have a next caller here. This is line number 2. You're live. Make up or break up.
Hey, can I boom? Two things. Super.
Two?
Hello?
Yeah, go through.
Yeah. Two things. I think it's a mind thing, because I'll just give you my experience. Anytime, I could usually last as long as possible once I do hear the word come. If I hear that, that's it. If it's in the beginning stage, in the ending stage, 2 minutes in,
Yeah.
I lose focus.
Once you say come, that is at your mash up. Full up.
And then your point super already with, like, normally if you just like felt around before and then you do it. If I do that normally, and especially if you exercise before and I do that, I could last probably whole night.
Yeah.
You know?
Let's ask Miss Onika, you know. So I said earlier in the show that in my younger years, I used to do a little push-ups. I might masturbate before, and to me, that is the best performance I will ever do. Is that fact, or that is just something in my head? I was taught that from since young, and I believed it, and I keep on doing it, and to me, it worked. But I don't know if it's true to this, or if it's just, it's just in my head.
Right. So there is usually never a one size fits all. So different things will work for different people and different bodies. Scientifically, though, if you masturbate before, it means it's going to take your body a while to build up the same sexual intensity. And so, yes, that would usually help folks last longer, because your body has already expended some energy. It's going to take some time to rebuild that energy to the same level. And yes, everybody says it's a mind thing. The fact is, the most important sex organ is the brain. That is just a fact. It is not your genitals. It's not it's nothing else. The most important sex organ is the brain.
Oh.
And so your beliefs, your attitudes, your thoughts, what's going through your mind, and how that connects and affects your nervous system and affects your body is what often impacts your sexual performance and your sexual experiences. So yes, your most important sex organ is the brain.
All right, let's go on to the ladies now. Right, we talk about men ejaculating and men reaching to the point of orgasms. That we learned that it's two different experiences. We hear a lot about ladies faking orgasms. Is there anywhere as a man, me, Carrie, DJ Karen, can see or tell when a woman is faking an orgasm?
Well, that's difficult to do unless you are able to pay deep attention to the change in her heart rate and her breathing patterns, and if you can tell whether the spasms that are happening in the pelvic area are real, like, as you can feel it. But it's difficult to tell, because especially if she knows what her body does during orgasm, she could simply replicate that. You need to be paid. For you to pick that up, it means you have to be able to sense change in heart rate, change in breathing rate, change in pulse rate, etc. As well as to be able. Yes.
Pay attention to your woman, men. Yeah,
so that's a little challenging. As well as it's not a good thing for women to fake orgasms. That actually harms the woman in the long run.
Yeah, I understand. All right, so this person been sending this message. Right, this message was sent a while back. Is orgasm through penetration supposed to feel the same as touching your clitoris? I don't know that.
No, and there's very little supposed to in sexual activity. Human beings are so very varied and so very different. In fact, women can experience more than 7 or 8 different kinds of orgasm sensations. And there are some women who could experience orgasm through breast and nipple stimulation alone. They don't need any penetration.
Yes, that is true. I have witnessed that. That is sexy. That is sexy, by the way, ladies.
Right, so no, it's not going to be the same sensation at all. And depending on the part of the body you're stimulating, how you're stimulating it, you're going to feel your orgasms are going to be different. You're going to experience them differently.
Going back to the voice note here.
And when I'm having sex...
Good night, Super. Doc, I want to ask a question. How old it has be before your penis stop grow?
That's a good question. That is a good question. How old? At what age your penis stop growing? What age?
Right. So as far as I can remember, it stops when puberty ends. So for men, it's usually around 21, give or take a year or two. Right? So when puberty ends, usually there is no more growth of the penis that happens after that.
Wow. Penis enlargement pills are all a scam. It's marketed to young men with insecurities. Think about it. You're taking pills to grow one part of your body? Agree. Clearly you agree with this. Yes. All right. So some more voice notes coming in. Guys, you can call us up 623-3941. The WhatsApp line is open, guys. You can call us up on WhatsApp. I'm live on Instagram, Supahype868. Onika, your Instagram, your Facebook handles.
Right. So Instagram, you could find me on O. Henry Consultancy Services. Facebook, same thing, O. Henry Consultancy. You can find me there as well. And I'm on YouTube. I have a few videos I've uploaded on YouTube that you may want to look at. For your very informative YouTube videos. Same O. Henry.
All right. I have a call and a voice note, so I'll go into the voice note first. All right. Let's go. Oh, I can't. All right. Line 3, you're live.
Yeah, I think a man in control of his own body. And all them things is nonsense.
All right, brother. Respect. The voice notes.
Yeah, it seems to me that men focusing on based on the general consensus, men focusing on the wrong thing. You understand? It's pleasure. We're supposed to be focusing on, you know? I don't know, I could be wrong.
And how long in there? I guess when I was talking about the talking the sex things. I think once the other party looking a certain way and feeling a certain way, you can come real fast. But if they're really saying nothing, boys.
Me and Carrie touched on that earlier. If you're I don't know if it's a myth as well. If you're very excited, you will ejaculate quicker. Like this is before penetration. If you're happy, you're like, finally, boy, oh gosh, girl.
Yes.
Is this a sign of being a early ejaculator, or this is just you being excited?
This is just you being excited, especially if you've never had challenges with early ejaculation in the past.
Okay, nice.
Doc, good night. I have a question, and it's kind of in 2 parts. If a man's G-spot is located inside his anus, how is he able to climax without stimulation? And if stimulation is not needed for the G-spot in order to climax, why do women make such a big fuss about it?
That's a good question.
Right. I didn't get the last part. Why women make such a big fuss about?
I don't know, but I want to hear about that anus and G-spot thing first. And then we go play it back.
Okay.
Yeah. Then we go play it back. Yeah.
All right, so let's start with the gentleman. Yes, the prostate, the P-spot is similar to the G-spot. In fact, they're made out of the same tissue. We are actually, men and women, made out of the exact same tissue, just shaped differently. Now, if you don't want to engage in anal penetration, you can stimulate the man's prostate from outside, and that is by the perineum, so that space between the anus and the end of your testicles. You will ask your partner to stimulate along that line until they find your sweet spot, and you can actually stimulate from externally and get the same kind of pleasure or similar pleasure compared to actually penetrating through the anus to get to the prostate. Right, so there is a way of doing it externally that men find pleasurable, and perhaps using a vibrator on the outside as well may help, because it's going to penetrate straight into the tissues and perhaps get to the quote-unquote male G-spot.
All right, so let me ask a question here. In order for a guy to feel aroused by his G-spot and G-spot being by his anus, and he wants to experience this, does this mean that the guys are homosexual?
Oh, no, that has nothing to do with who you want to have sex with. It's just a matter of how your body was designed and the kind of pleasure that your body likes.
No, but that's the concept of wanting something to penetrate or to be by your anus.
Nothing to do with sexual orientation. Never has been about sexual orientation.
So this is a normal practice straight men do?
I don't know if it's normal for straight men in this part of the world. I know in this part of the world people are very homophobic. So anything concerning anus and men is automatically associated with homosexuality. It's interesting to know, though, that many or most homosexual men do not engage in anal sex. It's not like that's all they do, or that all of them do it. That's a myth as well.
So what homosexual men do? What is do? That's all.
And that's, once again, think of the fact that sex does not have to be penetrative. And once we limit sexuality to only penetrative, it means we limit the kinds of joy and experience that we can have from sex. Sex doesn't have to be penetrative. Penises don't have to be involved in order to experience orgasm. And you don't have to have an erect penis to experience orgasm either. Because the body is wonderfully and fearfully made there. For example, for men, anybody who experienced an accident and they may be disabled and they may be numb from waist down can still experience sexual pleasure even though they don't respond to touch in the same kind of way. So it's just about the pleasure of the body and how your body was designed and how you like to experience your pleasure. Orientation has to do with who you want to do it with, not how the body works. That's completely different. Right? The G-spot, by the way, is an area that's different in different women. Some women like G-spot stimulation, some women don't like G-spot stimulation. And for squirting, it's usually G-spot that's involved. And you can learn. I've heard, and some women have learned how to squirt. So you can train yourself to do that as well. And the G-spot doesn't stay in one area. For women who've experienced pregnancy and childbirth, sometimes they have to find the G-spot all over again because it's not in the same place.
Wow, I didn't know that. We have a caller here on line 5. Line 5, a brand new line. Hello, good night.
Good night. So, I was saying, right? I know you're going to say it's different for everybody, but if you also take a survey today, what would women prefer, length or girth? That's your first question. Second question is, at what point would you consider, like what length you would say is above average for the Caribbean man?
I can fool him up.
Right.
I go allow him. All right, go allow him. Just so before you move on to the people on Instagram, or they hearing me or they not hearing me, what's going on? Let me know, right? Continue, Miss Henry.
Right. Length or girth, once again, there is no survey that can be done today that will give a definite answer. It is really a matter of personal preference. There are some women who will always want length. And it has to do as well with how their bodies are designed internally, where the most of their nerve endings are, whether they prefer to have their pressure nerve endings stimulated at the back of the vagina, or whether they prefer to have the touch-sensitive nerve endings at the entrance of the vagina stimulated. And that changes over time. As we age, what we like changes as well. So it is going to be different. There's no general consensus. And we don't do sex surveys here. So there's no way I'm going to be able to tell you based on research. Nobody here funding sex research, okay, dude? Nobody's funding sex research for us to know what the average penis size is in Trinidad and Tobago. Nobody's recording that anywhere. Nobody wants to say. I will say that the average is about 5 inches. I think that's 5 inches erect. That's the average size. So if you're more than that, you're a little above average. If you're less than that, you're a little below average. And you can check that online. You could Google that. Right. I have about like 5 more minutes. I don't know how many questions you can fit into that.
All right. Rapidly, one question. Take it all with this copybook thing. So here we're going on, Miss Henry. You will really need to come back to this show because we need you on this platform because the amount of WhatsApp messages I'm getting here and calls and messages on the Instagram, it's a lot to really go through, right? Carrie, stop saving the names. So I'm going with the names that save. Let's go.
Super, Carrie, Karen, now tune in. My take on this is connection. Once you're connected to a woman, the sex will be extraordinary. You just have to be connected to the other side, to the woman. Once you're connected to the woman, you get through. Sex will not last long.
I can agree.
Yes, that's actually true. That's actually true.
I can agree.
Yes, smooth. It doesn't matter once a man come quick or not. You understand? Once the man come quick, that means the woman think good.
All right, brother. From how you don't start, we don't know you man already. All right, let's go again. A lot of things to read, but it's real readings. All yourself voice note. I can't bother what I read the thing today. So stick style. All right. Voice note.
Good night. Sometime when a man having problem to have ejaculation, sometimes they have diabetes and they don't know that they're suffering from diabetes. So they have problem in having a proper ejaculation. That is why men need to go and take regular checkups to know what's going on with them.
This is based on experience, but I've found that a lot of heterosexual men like to get stimulation in the anus.
Don't know. Oh, no. Some people, everybody has the cheese, eh? So the thing goes sometimes. All right, Miss Henry, once again, please share your social media handles for the folks that just listening and the people on Instagram who looking to follow and find out.
Sure.
Yeah?
Sure. So, O. Henry Consultancy Services. Once you punch that in your Instagram, you'll find me there. That is my business page. My regular page, quote unquote, just me being me, Otasha 18, OTASHA 18. I'm not politically correct on that platform, so be prepared. On Facebook, O. Henry Consultancy Services. And you can, browse my website as well, onikahenry.com. Easy to remember, ONIKAHENRY.com. That's my website. Get some background information on me there.
Are there, all right, there's a message coming in too as well. Are there any long-term effect of using Viagra?
So I'm not a medical personnel, so I can't say for sure. But once you are putting any kind of chemicals in your body that's not natural or organic, because even organic things can have long-term effects, I would say yes. And there are side effects as well as depending on the problem, Viagra doesn't always work. I want to suggest, though, that we can make a similar Viagra. It's called watermelon Viagra. That's easy for guys to make. You can search on YouTube. You'll get some recipes, which I've actually suggested to my clients who have issues with erections.
Please
and
share.
It's basically a whole lot of watermelon, lemon, and ginger. It's just 3 ingredients that you're blending up. But you can just Google it, and you will find the recipes on YouTube.
What a watermelon and ginger just sell out anymore. What a watermelon and ginger, nobody can get that tomorrow. I buy it all.
Yeah, I've shared that recipe with a lot of my clients, and it's good for you, but it has a particular chemical in it that works similar to Viagra, which is why it's called watermelon Viagra. And you are blending up everything, including, well, depends on your taste, but you're blending up everything in the lemon, including the seeds. You can take out the seeds if you wish. But yeah, it's a fairly well known recipe that folks can try in the meantime. I think you take half a glass in the morning and half a glass in the afternoon.
Nice. That's a nice vibe. You see, you learn something new on the show every day, guys. Don't miss it out. We kickstart the show at 6 and we go to 9. New energy, carry, super. Here we're going on. All right, so Kegels. I'm familiar with the Kegel exercises. Can this help?
Right.
Not me, but I'm just saying. Can this help with early ejaculation? I'm trying to remember the term you was using. Yeah, early ejaculation.
Yes, it can. What guys need to remember, though, that they need to be done in a particular kind of way so you don't have more tightening of the muscles in the pelvic floor, your PC muscle, because if there's more tightening, it means it's more constricted. There's less room to contain sexual energy, and you will still have the early ejaculation problem. So you can actually download free apps if you have a smartphone. Look for Kegel exercises, Kegel exercises for men, and you could download the app on your smartphone, and it will actually give you different ways of exercising the pelvic floor muscles that would help. It will also help with preventing bladder issues as you get older. Because if those muscles, those PC muscles sag or get loose or not strong enough, it's not going to hold up your bladder. You begin to leak urine. You know, when you get older, you run, you sneeze, you jump, you cough, you're going to leak urine. So it helps to keep you from getting incontinence as well. So there's more than one reason to do your Kegel exercises or your pelvic floor exercises. Just do them well so you don't cause further constriction, which will just make the problem worse.
All right, so I have 3 voice notes here. We'll beat off this 3 and we'll call it a wrap for tonight. And
all right,
we will have a part 2 sometime soon, right? So keep it locked, guys. We're rolling again. And then you call the person name, yes?
Good night. I usually have during sex. I can have sex for a long period of time, feel good, and not feel like I want to ejaculate. Is that normal?
Yes, that's fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Only if you're experiencing tension and pain in your pelvis after. Like just as men get blue balls, some women get pink pelvis.
Yo, this is a real thing, or this is just like
yes.
Wow.
No, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. So once there isn't a sense of congestion and pain and discomfort after, and the person is satisfied with the sex that they have, then they don't need to ejaculate or squirt. That's a woman asking, so I'm guessing she's talking about female ejaculation or squirting or something like that. And that's there's a wide range of what is normal.
Wow, we're going again. Make up or break up. Guys, I'm loving this show tonight. I ain't lie. If I lie, check out my.
Yeah, good night. I don't know if all ever hear about this drink, but you see Wicked? Dog, if you drink a Wicked, sure dog. Your tractor, plowing land, all night dog. You get a ride by Smiley Pal on the corner dog. You understand? Drink a Wicked.
Right, all right. No, things like this, right? There are many things like this on the market. I want to, I'm just going to ask it. Are these things safe?
So I would need to know the ingredients to know whether they are safe. Like I gave you watermelon Viagra. It's natural stuff that you're going to be eating anyway. It's always going to be in your food. But I don't know what's the ingredients for that, so I can't say safe or no safe.
I personally, I scared to use these stuff because I just think by like natural things, like if a man say by drink as a peak, pour it out, let me drink it. But you see when to go out my tablet and thing, I don't know that what is that. So I don't want no part of that. But if a man say boy, if a man say boy choose some dashing bush, I say all right, I ain't mind doing that.
Yeah.
But you see them kind of thing, I free them thing, boy. All right, final voice note.
So good night. But but you know the white in the watermelon itself. I mean the bottom of the watermelon. You know that is one of the ingredients that they put in Viagra. So
thanks for that information. We're going again. That's what about
something I saw on Instagram. To take in folic acid pills, what is used for pregnancy for women, could help with uric acid to help with erection. Something I saw on Instagram, dealing with erectile dysfunction. Well, the lady will know that, and what she say is all in your brain because there's something called uric acid that what it helps to give you erection, and that is in the head. So they say on Instagram, things like you could use to help with nitric acid is stuff that it is high in folic acid. So the folic acid is what help create the nitric acid to create an erection.
All right, at least you're using the Instagram for something good, eh? We have one call and that's it. Hello, you're live. Final call for the night.
I call back again. I'm glad I get the final call. Just like you, brother, I want to know about that. Not the orgasm and the ejaculation. I wish you could elaborate on it a little bit more, just for you and me as well.
But she did though.
She did it. She went inside.
Yeah.
I switch off the car now into the gas station.
No, but what's going on? We're gonna put up the show again. We'll put up the show online and you'll get to play it back, right?
No problem. Thank you.
All right, man. Respect it. Just follow me on Instagram one time, Supahype 868 and DJ Carrie, and you'll get the episode on. And that is how we wrapping up tonight's show. This is a good show, Carrie. Give them something here, boy. Give Onika something, boy. Onika, you come here with the bombs, girl. You come ready, eh? Sexologist for your money. Now, boy. There you are, show here tonight. This is what we're talking about. Onika, once again, I want to thank you for sharing, coming on the platform, doing your thing. And for the people who just tune in, the people who want to know more about Onika, you could mention your platforms again because they know how the things go. Go ahead.
Sure.